If you ever get the chance to visit the city of York, you really must check out the Yorvik Viking Centre, run by the York Archaeological Trust. There you can sample the sights, sounds and smells of life during the Viking invasion of England in the 8th century. Here's just a taster of what it's like to travel through that amazing experience.
In this multicultural society, people have different appearances, languages, religions and possessions. The remains of part of this thriving city were found right here, and by carefully piecing together all of the archaeological evidence and what we know from other sources, you can now visit the Viking Age.
Kom här, välkommen till Jorvik.
As ships became more seaworthy, the Vikings created wider trading routes, sometimes using chains of middlemen to carry goods from one side of the Viking world to the other. Silks and the cowrie shell found here suggest trade with Central Asia, the Eastern Mediterranean and the Red Sea. It looks like this slave trader is trying to make his way up to Coppergate. But before we get there, let's have a look at some of the many craftspeople working here in the city. Here's Sigurd. He's using animal bones and antler from deer to make some everyday objects such as combs, comb cases, skates and bone pins. Making a comb from antler could be very time consuming, but the ones found here were made from many pieces riveted together and then decorated. We know that the Vikings liked to keep themselves well groomed, as we found many combs in the excavations, as well as items such as tweezers and even ear scoops. We'll now head away from the river towards the street, Coppergate, and meet some more of the people who lived and worked here. Here's the blacksmith's house. Look inside and you can see his wife by the fire. Grummy, the blacksmith, is teaching his son how to sharpen a knife he had just made. Viking Age smiths were masters of their craft, and here in Jorvik they made everything from needles to beautifully ornate padlocks. Now we'll go across to the next property and visit his neighbour, Unni, a woodturner who lives in one of the new style wooden plank buildings. Unni is making cups and bowls by turning wood such as oak or ash in his pole lathe. You can see all the wooden core waste on the ground, which children may have used as spinning tops. By the way, it's this trade that many think gave its name to Coppergate, the street of the cupmakers. Another building is being built behind Unni's house. Here the cellar is being dug out and lined with oak planks before the upper story is added. Looks like the builders are having a rest there. This family also looks like they're taking a break. The children are being taught to play Nefertari by their grandfather. We found a wooden gaming board and lots of playing pieces here, made from bone, wood and iron, so it must have been a popular pastime. In this front room you can see a woman working at the loom, which was used to weave woolen cloth for clothing and blankets. We're now moving into Coppergate itself, an important commercial street right in the heart of the city of Yorvik. As you can see from these stores, you can buy almost anything here. Coppergate is just one of the many streets in this city, which was home to more than 10,000 people. The streets of the city of Yorvik are covered in filth and mud, rutted by car wheels and with potholes everywhere. This leather worker seems to be having a problem sewing his shoe pieces together, and looks like he has Viking's disease, Dupuytren's contracture. You can see it's caused the fingers on his hand to become clawed. It's a genetic disorder that runs in families and seen particularly in middle-aged men. Tradition has it that it originated with the Vikings, who spread it throughout northern Europe and beyond as they travelled to intermarry. This couple here are arguing about what to have for supper, meat or fish. It would seem that life hasn't changed too much over the last 1,000 years. They're arguing in Old Norse, but if you listen carefully, you can hear Old English, Middle Welsh and Old Irish all being spoken in this stream. Here's a food seller trying to sell this wealthy-looking woman a cabbage or some sort. It doesn't look like the type of thing that would tempt her or her young lady. This woman looks like she's struggling to cross the road. We only found 2 complete skeletons in the excavations here, and this woman is based on one of them. The first Vikings who came here were not Christians and worshipped their pagan Norse gods, but they seem to have adopted Christianity quite quickly. There is lots of evidence for there being a Viking-era church just behind Copenhagen, and there were many other new churches built in Yorvik at this time. Here's a priest administering last rites. He would always have worn a stole around his neck, as seen here, as it marked his priestly status. We found a very small, silk, pink-coloured reliquary pouch in one of the buildings. The embroidered cross on it suggests that it once held holy relics, which have since disappeared and are now a mystery. Each property is separated from the next by woven wattled fences. We know from the 5 tons of animal bone found in the excavation that the people's diet was quite similar to ours, with lots of beef, pork and mutton, as well as poultry and fish. Supplying this food may have been one of the reasons for the major changes in the countryside we see around Yorvik at this time. In this backyard, animals have been slaughtered to provide meat and other resources. Body parts of cattle must have been a fairly familiar sight and smell around Viking Age Europe. As well as supplying meat, cattle carcasses also provided horn and hide, both valuable resources for making everyday items. Toilets would also have been situated in the backyard. Pits in this yard were clearly used as latrines, as they were full of human waste, as well as moss, which was a type of Viking Age toilet paper. This man here doesn't look too happy to be disturbed, so perhaps we'd better move on quickly. Here we are in our final house. In the excavations at Jorvik, we found a few Viking Age musical instruments, including a set of panpipes which can still be played. Music, saga-telling and poetry must have been important in the Viking world. Iceland and Scandinavia have cultures rich in storytelling, traditions that developed in Viking times. Norse mythology, which conjures up gods and monsters living in 9 realms, still captures the imagination today, and we can picture what it was like sitting around a hearth, enjoying tall tales of magic and bravery.